Hey there, Megamaniacs. This is Mr. MegaManFan, and I'm testing out the 3 Sonic games for Nintendo DS that I got in a recent episode of the Retro Hunting Adventures, starting with this Sonic and Sega All-Stars racing game. Now, my 3DS can be a little flaky at times, so when I put in this cartridge the first time, it didn't even show up, but usually if that causes a problem, I just eject it and insert it again, and it usually shows up on the second try. What can I say? I've used this 3DS a lot, so I'm actually happy that it's holding up well despite all the years and all the places it's been and all the things it's been through. This one's been all the way to the San Diego Zoo and back, so it's quite well traveled, which is something I think about fondly right now when I can look at all the different street passes on there and think about all the places this 3DS has been with me. Anyway, here we have the opening title screens and video for Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, and everything looks to be running smoothly as one would expect it to be. So I feel like seeing this opening title screen and that there are no licenses currently in the game means that whoever owned it before me wiped it before sending it to me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. No objections. The seller will be getting good feedback for giving me not a pristine game, but a cleaned game, so to speak. And from there, we will move on. Let's put this one back in its clamshell where it belongs. So another reason that I like clamshells for 3DS games and DS games is because that way you never lose your games on these little cards, because you can always put them back in a box that's much bigger than they are themselves. The boxes are a lot harder to lose than the game cards. I think any parent who's had kids and had some of these games can probably attest to that very fact. So once again, we're going to have to put it in twice, but once we do, Sonic Rush Adventure spins on the upper screen, and then it will ultimately display on both screens. Created by Sonic Team. They make games, I think. What the is a Sonic? That's a very obscure John Jafari video that I doubt many people have seen. I think it actually ended up on one of the channels that collected deleted JonTron videos, but the guy with the powder all over his face who screams, "What the is a Sonic?" always cracks me up when I watch that video. Anyway, it's once again apparent that this is a tested and working game, so we can go back to the main menu here, and that just leaves one game left. Sega Superstars Tennis, which I spent an inordinate amount of time trying to find a complete in-box copy of with instructions. It proved to be way harder than I expected, and eventually I caved in and bought a copy from Canada. It came with both English and French on the back, but to my knowledge, it's exactly the same game. That's only a regional requirement, particularly in the province of Quebec, but I think it might apply to most of Canada and most of the provinces in Canada, I should say, that you have to be bilingual and put both English and French on the boxes of games, DVDs, etc. In fact, that was one of the jokes in Canadian Bacon, for those who've actually seen that movie, is when they get pulled over, they're not being arrested for their anti-Canadian profanity written in graffiti. They're being fined for not translating it into French. It's like, you broke the law because you didn't put it in French. That gag has always amused me. And I think this game will probably amuse me too, but I'm just testing it to make sure it works, and it does. So I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and as always, thank you for watching.